Thank you all for coming. I'll just remind everybody that the people who are here in attendance, it is a workshop, so there is no public comment. And with that, I'm not sure. Do we start with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And anytime you're ready, Mark, I think you're the one that's gonna roll out your budget, right?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is for the council and for the residents of Winslow. First, I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Sherry, our finance director. She did a lot of work here. She did an incredible job. I mean, she was burning the midnight candle for, honestly, months on this, and I'm pretty impressed with what she's put together. Both Sherry and I's direction this year were to try to be as conservative as possible, and we'll work through these, budget lines, and you'll see what we're talking about when we're taking that stance. But I'm actually really looking forward to presenting what we did this year for the FY27 budget. So we're gonna kick it off with the admin side of it. So if you guys could turn to page 10, and you'll see what we're talking about. Are we all there? All right, we can start with the first line, the admin salaries. So, department head proposed 428 to 200. I proposed the same 428 200. This increase from the last fiscal year, something that Sherry spent a lot of time on and I did as well, was looking at salary comps from other municipalities. There's a lot of full-time employees we have, especially some of the department heads, that on average are well below the fair wage that they should be paid compared to other municipalities. So with everybody on the council, you all have this sheet. This is a sheet that shows the comparisons that MMA came out with. So you're gonna be able to go line by line. Sherry, what page was the individual? 44?
44.
So if you turn to 44, we're going to be able to flip back and forth to actually see what we're talking about when it comes to the salaries for individuals. So starting off, obviously I'm at the top there. Mine's contractional, so there's no real edit there. The next in line would be the finance director. Let's see here. So right now, we're proposing an approximate 20% increase. I can tell you, she is so far underpaid for her position that it's pretty important to me that we get this bumped up. After that, you have, let's see, our HR director and treasurer. That's another one, 20%. Actually, I want to apologize for our finance director. She's approximately, no, you're at 20% too. Our HR and treasurer is also 20% below the average wage. And the other one that we're going to be discussing would be our clerk. She's 15%. So if we want to look at the wages, and then if you want to give me your feedback on what you think about our proposed increase.
I don't see a 15% mark. Are you talking about the finance clerk or the town clerk?
This separate sheet that I gave you that shows the averages.
Oh, the average.
Yep, that Sherry handed out.
I got you. I thought you meant current pay. I got you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Let me start first. Let me go first.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, go right ahead.
That, when you look at it like that, those are really big increase. very, very big increases.
Right.
To put the burden on the taxpayers. I want the taxpayers and everybody up here to be fully aware that currently Winslow already has pretty much two types of raises they already get every year. One is the step increase that's built into their policy. Each year, they step up, they make a little bit more, they make a little bit more, they make a little bit more. They also get the COLAs. COLAs can be another step up. So they're already getting two raises. I don't quite understand why there's two. Usually it's either one or the other, a COLA or a step-up program, but not usually two.
For these, they're not getting COLA. For these specific examples?
No, they can't, because I already know you can't go above 3.5%.
Right,
And you can't
right.
get COLA. These three people can't, but in
Correct.
general. So for the raises that you're talking and the comparisons that you have, Mark, I think you got to look beyond just the number of, let's just say, Falmouth uses.
Sure.
If Falmouth's paying their people more, you have to say why. Do you have any information? Do they have a college education? Do they have extended experience? Because then come back to here, and some of the people you're talking about get paid very well. And if I had to say, to compare, like say the town clerk, I'm just throwing it out because it's easiest for me. You compare the town clerk here to another town, that other town, they may have a college education, they may have extensive experience. Where our clerk came in with, I don't think neither. So that's the difference in the pay. So you can't always just look at the number.
Sure.
You have to look at why a different town is paying more money.
Yep, and that was considered. We're also looking at the different hats they wear. So to stick with the clerk, I mean, she's the GA. She handles elections. She's the town clerk. I mean, she's probably wearing 5 or 6 different hats for the town. So the amount of work that she's putting in every week it shows. Not only is she assisting with town operations on the daily, she's also staying late hours. She's helping out with meetings. She's assisting with the redistricting committee stuff. I mean, she's putting in more hours than probably most people do for the town.
And are
So
all these
that's-
things in her job description? Like, are they represented?
So a lot of that falls under each of those titles. But when you have one individual that's wearing a bunch of hats, I mean, again, I'm looking at fair wages. This isn't trying to get people increased to be making top dollar in their fields. These are people that are doing the job every day that, quite honestly, somebody like me and any manager that's managing good employees, your goal is to retain this kind of help. We wouldn't benefit by losing anybody because they're not feeling like they're being paid fair wage.
Yeah, no, I totally am with you, Mark, and I don't think the goal of this is not to lose anyone, first
Sure.
of all. Let's put that on
And
record,
that's- and
right?
that's
Like,
always my
I care
concern.
deeply about
Yep.
all the employees of the town as well, and I want to make sure I put that on record before we dive deeper into the conversation. I think that one of the curiosities that I have is, if we give a 20% increase this year, where do we go from there, right? What happens when these employees improve their skill set, get additional certifications, gain years of experience in the role?
Sure.
Where's the room for growth for them, right? Normally, when we look at compensation, we look at a step scale.
Right.
We can do quadrants, we can do a range, and the experience, certifications, education, tenure, they fall somewhere in that
Correct.
scale, right? Where are we? Are we putting them at the top of the scale? Are we at the median?
Average, and that's the point. The step scale wasn't respected and followed before. So this is us trying to correct that. Again, there was a lot of work that Sherry put in on this and myself to sit there and analyze each of these positions and make sure that they're actually being fairly treated and treated individually. They can't be compared to each other. They can't be compared to what work each one does. I'll use our HR and treasurer as an example. She's been here over a decade. She's been putting in a lot of hours and time for this community, yet she's still woefully underpaid. And someone like that, you lose somebody like that, and that does hurt the town, no matter how you look at it.
Absolutely. I mean, that experience it would be a loss, and no one wants that. I think that it's about looking forward, too.
Sure.
Because if we give a 20% increase or we give 5 20% increases this year,
Yep.
we've already built that into FY 28, 29, and beyond. There's no changing
Right.
that, right?
Yeah.
And so in this moment, it feels good and right. How do we sustain that? How do we sustain that year over year with our revenues declining 1.9%? right? Like, I'm just having trouble understanding how we keep our heads above water as proposed right now. We're still obviously early in the conversation.
Yeah, and to kind of highlight early on the conversation with like lower revenues, you know, something to consider is like the state revenues, for instance. They just came out with their first figure. Conservatively, we went with 2 million. Right now, the figure's showing 2.3 mil. We think it's going to steady out around there, but we're not going to change in these figures until we get the official, you know, count, which is going to
Yep.
take another maybe month or two.
Okay.
So we're still looking at, because we gave a very conservative budget, we're expecting that to actually look a lot better when it comes to those actual figures. But I wanted to be as tight as possible.
Yep.
And that was my goal, and that was Sherry's goal as well, was to be as honest and tight as we can with this budget, but also just try to get people to where they should be. So if we're looking at the future, if these individuals are getting these kind of increases, well, they're not getting a 20% increase next year. They would get the steady COLA.
Right,
and
but that
COLA is
salary
typically
is
2 to
increased for
3%.
next year. I mean, that salary's on the
Everything
books.
increases. Labor costs, everything. Right now, we have, it's kind of lump-sided, or it's kind of not quite even compared to, you know, you have these, and I know people don't like the argument, but the comparisons between union contracts and regular employees, I mean, it's off the charts, not even close to being the same. And again, these are department heads. These are people that, quite honestly, could make more money and at most of these towns. And that's always my concern, again, as a manager, is just maintaining, you know, the staff that we have, making sure we have the right people in the seats and doing the job for the town.
Yeah, totally get that.
Through the chair, Sherry, can you tell me what the average employee receives for benefits?
For benefits?
You're right. I mean, I know the town, they have excellent benefits, excellent retirement plan.
Well, she
and-
wouldn't know.
Not exactly, but I mean, they do receive up to a 9% match on their retirement. They get their paid health care.
Yeah, so they're getting,
approximately
in addition
15.
to an excellent wages, excellent benefits. I mean, they work
Right,
4
the
days a
benefits
week.
package is very
It-
nice.
It's
for the town.
excellent.
And we pay for that in full?
The employees' health care.
But it went up 36% this year, right? Over year on the
Insurance.
healthcare.
Yeah, the insurance did.
As far as I'm concerned, I think the only person in this room who is severely underpaid is our finance director, and I'm all for kicking her up to the average.
Well, the average is a big increase for 1 year.
She's certainly worth it. She's a rock star. She's done excellent work. I worked with finance directors for many years, and she's worth her weight. She's worth that.
They're all worth their weight.
Yeah.
It's whether or not the town can afford their weight, is what we're talking about.
I think it's worth noting that, yes, labor costs are an enormous amount that we pay for in this town. But again, those labor costs, Sherry, where are the majority of that labor costs coming from? What percent goes to the contracts?
What percent goes to the contracts?
I think it was in the 60s,
Yeah,
67%, I want to say.
yeah.
That
Of our labor costs is
67% goes to
union.
union contracts, and then everything else gets divided by everybody else. So again, I'm looking at these individuals that we're looking at the figures. We're looking at the fact that you have an average, a baseline, and they're all below it. All I'm trying to do is get them caught up.
They're
And
not
if
all
we-
below it, though, Mark.
When I say all, I say the three that we're talking
Right.
about.
And they may be below it, but again, like Doris said, they've got a package of benefits that compares to probably everybody on there that's above them in pay. So you can't just look at that. She's a little below this one or a little below. You've got to look
Sure.
at the whole package.
No, I get that.
And I do believe that the people in Winslow wouldn't find it fiscally responsible for us to give a 20% increase, because unless my math's wrong, that comes out to like $14,000 increase in 1 year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to put on the people for Winslow. And that's not just one person that you're asking for. So when you put the numbers the way Mark did, look at the number of 14,000, because that's the increase you're looking at for 1 year. It's a lot of money.
If I may, through the chair,
Yes.
I respect the work that you did with these things. I think, 20% is a lot. Did you ever consider maybe a stepwise 2-year two-year getting people up to that instead of like
Yeah.
shock and say,
I was thinking the
hey,
same thing.
Multi-year
here's 2 years, a multi-year increase to get people up
Yep.
to the pay that's necessary.
So I wanted to propose this, but I obviously know how this goes, that there was going to be a negotiation process here. So obviously I want to hit them where they need to be, but knowing that the realism or the realistic approach here is that it's going to get shot down, I still want to be able to negotiate as high as we can on behalf of them. So if we turn into a step process to get that over a course of a couple years, that was discussed, and that's something that Sherry and I discuss as well.
You know, I think we look at this, we look at the increases.
Sure.
After we get all the departments in, we take a look at the mill rate and what exactly we're looking at here for increases. And then at that point in time, I think we can make a pretty good decision on what we can afford and what we can't afford.
The labor increases amounts to a 0.09% increase or a 0.09 on the mill rate, and that doesn't include with anything else that gets touched here. It's an increase, but it's a subtle increase. Again, I think people see figures. They see something like 20% and your brain just explodes naturally, and I understand that. But we need to take a step back and actually look at the big figures that we're dealing with. 14,000 sounds like a lot. No question.
That is a
It's
nice
a big
raise.
jump.
I'd like to get a
It's a big jump.
$14,000 raise in
Of
1
course,
year.
I've never received a 14K increase in my life. I don't think most people have. But again,
It's not
I'm
standard
doing what I
practice.
can to argue on behalf of them to get them up to speed to where they should be. And again, when you're looking at it and you're actually comparing to the entire budget of 35 million proposed, that kind of increase sounds a little more like peanuts.
Through the chair, I'd like to make sure that everybody knows, I mean, some of these increases are necessary, but some of the other ones, I need to let you know that I think we should recommend that the actual growth of the estimated tax valuation base be considered as an indicator as the amount of increased spending that is sustainable. Spending does not increase more revenue. The proposed FY 2027 budget on page 5 shows an estimated tax valuation of $1,151,062,880, which is an increase of $55,493,969 from FY 2026 budget. That's on page 7 is the FY 2026 budget. At the current property tax mill rate of 14.85 per thousand, the growth in tax base would generate an additional $824,000 in revenue in FY 2026. If spending increase could be held to a normal growth in tax-based revenue, the overall budget expenditures could be increased by 2.4% as compared to the 8.6 proposed. A reduction in expenditures of $2,149,444 from the proposed increase. And finally, the question should be addressed is rather Winslow's property taxpayers could afford pay for the proposed 8.6 growth in spending. If the mill rate is increased to the proposed $16.75 per thousand for the current $14.85 per thousand, the average homeowner will with a $265,000 taxable valuation house would pay $494 per year. $260,000, an increase of $1.90 per thousand in mill rate. As noted, the proposed budget asks for property taxes increase of $3,209,299 more than the fiscal year 2026 budget. I think we have to keep that in consideration. We do have a large amounts here that we're playing with, but there is, I don't see how that's sustainable as far as bringing those taxes up another $494. I just can't see it. So let's do it, but we have to be very frugal in how we're going to be spending this money. The people that, especially with people that has fixed incomes, and not even just the ones people with fixed incomes, people that are working hard and still can't keep up with this type of an increase. That's all I got to say on that.
I think what we're talking about then is the financial, I agree with Doris, the only one that I believe is grossly underpaid is the financial director for what she does and her qualifications and her education. So I do think she should definitely get
You should get that 20%.
No, I don't agree with 20%, not in 1 year. That's a lot of money for 1 year, Doris. But that's up to everybody to vote on. But like they said, increments of doing it so that it's not such a big,
I would be very comfortable with increments. If we have a plan in place for the next 2 or 3 years to get people up to par, I would be very satisfied with that, and I think the department heads would be too.
I think a 3-year plan really makes sense. And then the other option, have you thought about any kind of like spot bonus, one-time compensation, things where we don't take on that extra debt in years to come specifically, but maybe we can reward employees now?
It's been weighed very briefly, but it's something that we could still entertain and think deeper on.
You know, because it's a thought, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I hear your passion about wanting to reward your team, and it makes a lot of sense.
It's really,
about
I wouldn't call it
balance,
rewarding per se. It's more so just, again, it's fair market wage. And
I mean,
unfortunately, we do compete with the private sector, regardless if we're public. This isn't 20,
Does
30
Falmouth
years
pay
ago.
their health insurance in full for their town employees?
That's the problem. With all these municipalities, they all have so many different types of benefit packages that exist. So not every municipality is treated the same.
But total compensation is a factor, right? I mean,
It matters.
If this is base salary, that's one thing, but if
Sure.
it's base and comp, and, you know, we look at things like seminars, for example, we have
Right.
$12,000 budgeted for conferences, travel, seminars, things like that. I mean,
Sure.
those are all growth opportunities, right?
It
Which
is.
then
It
consider
is. And that's,
compensation.
again, that's us paying and investing in the employees
Sure.
here and making sure that we're getting the best output for the town.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what it comes down
But
to.
then they
anyway.
become more skilled and they want
do.
more money, right? And so where does that
It's a
journey
vicious
take
cycle.
us? That's right, exactly.
I think we just need to look at it as not just the numbers Mark gave us. Just remember, it's like Katie said, it's the entire benefit package. And,
That's fair.
You know, when you look at some of the people in Winslow don't understand, they've never really looked at it. A lot of the people that work in your town office are making $70,000, $80,000. That's good money. That's good money. And with the benefit package, you add a whole lot more on top of that. Whether or not they're making the same as Oakland, Oakland's not getting the same package as them. They're working 4 days a week. They are working 40 hours a week, but they got their long weekends. They get a lot of perks, too, that go along with it besides just the pay.
I will say a lot of the staff do a lot of work on the weekends too. I mean, everyone here brings their computers home, and there's not a single department head that I have that
They
we're
are
not.
salary, Mark. They're salary.
Oh, I get that. But what I'm saying is this isn't Monday through Thursday and everyone checks out for the weekend and has nothing to do with the town. I mean, they're still working and they're working pretty hard.
If I may, through the chair, just one last thing. You know, I do know some of the department heads, we work with them through the years, but I don't really feel comfortable myself judging one department head that thinks, I don't have that information, that one department head is more valuable than the other department head, than the other department head. So as a council, I think that's why I kind of hired you, is because I feel you know how you should divvy out the raises and respectfully for the other councilors. It's just, I feel uncomfortable when that's spoken. Somebody,
Well, and this is the issue with doing this in an open forum as well, is now we're treading into personnel matters because it's really hard to start getting into the weeds regarding performance and everything else, because now we're getting again into personnel matters, and now we're getting closer to the charter and other personnel
Well, it's
policies.
the budget, and you've got them all listed by their names. We have to discuss the budget.
No, I understand that. That's part of the process. But what I'm saying is I can't get too deep into it. It's not like I could discuss performance evaluations and everything else.
No.
So
No, you shouldn't be anyway. So what are we doing with this then, you guys?
Are we going to be voting individually for each position?
Well, we talked about a 3-year plan, right? So do we need to come up with that plan before we vote, or?
I think so.
I don't-
I think that would have to happen.
If I may, through the chair. Oh, yeah, you're done, Katie? I'd feel more comfortable instead of a 3-year, I'd prefer maybe a 4-year. Just to spread it a little bit further.
Spreading out 14,000, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm saying if we want to bump any one of the positions to get closer to that 20%, well, whatever we decide on how much of a percentage we give, say, excuse me, say we pick one position and Mark's recommending a 20% increase. Whatever we decide the increase is going to be, I think it should be spread out over a 4-year plan, regardless of what the percentage is that we agree on.
So if the 20% is agreed on, you would want 5% a year for the next 4 years.
Yeah. If we decide to go with 20. But I think there's some positions that may not even get 20. Maybe we agree on maybe, a 10% increase.
But if
and
that's spread over 4 years, then that's going to be under what the COLA is anyway, because COLA this year is 3%.
Okay, well, I mean,
It would have to be on top of their COLA.
It would have
be
to.
Yeah.
On top of their yearly
right,
increases
exactly.
already.
Regardless of.
Because
Or
again,
you'd be
these
falling behind.
increases for these specific ones,
Yeah.
COLA is not included. It's not.
Right.
It's not this ask and then by the way, fiscal July 1 is also 3%. That's not happening.
So if I may, through the chair again, I think you heard the concerns that the council has that we can't afford this year. We can't afford it. And so you're gonna have to go back and come up with a plan
Sure.
that addresses these issues, and then we can discuss that at another time. I think you're well aware of the concerns we have.
I have to agree.
And then you come back to us, and then,
I can do that.
you've heard us.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray. Are we good on the admin salaries?
Yeah.
Next line, longevity. We propose nothing. There's a win.
What page?
It's on the same. Sorry,
Okay.
page 10. We're back to page 10, everyone. Are we all set?
Yep.
Part-time salaries, as people are becoming made aware, and I was going to make it aware for the town council meeting, we have officially hired our next project manager. So when you look at the part-time salaries, it is a part-time position. So I am proposing a $32,000 salary for this position. Now, when you look at the manager proposed, you see 5,214. That's because TIF funds are going to support this position.
This position, can you give me a brief job description?
Yeah, grant administration, proposals, they're going to be essentially, my goal for this position, number one, library and community center. We announced this a few months ago. If we don't have somebody on this job working, honestly, day and night for a part-timer, if you will, invested in putting the work in, we're not going to get this going. So it's like any other project or any other initiative. It's always great to have ideas and come up with ideas, but it's also about execution. So having somebody that's going to be able to dedicate their full time, grant writing, just working through the processes and also tracking the project itself, that's where they're going to really work their magic, and they're going to answer to my office.
For the past 12 years, I've been advocating for an admin position to work on our website. We voted on it several times. My goal was to put it in the budget. Can this person update our website as well?
I would not want the project manager working on the website personally.
Is there anyone at the town office who
There's
can?
two. Both Audra and Vanessa sitting next to each other over there. They're both rather active with being able to work on the website and the social media platforms. I think Amanda also has access. There's a few department heads
I'm
that have
not
access
so concerned
to the
about
pages.
social media. I'm concerned about the town website itself.
Sure.
I want to
Yes.
see it polished. So we voted on it. I've advocated for the last 12 months. I want that website up to date.
Work in progress.
Okay,
We'll keep working on it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair. Mark, on,
Yes.
as far as the project manager, you said you wanted to work on the community center. Now, is this something that we're looking for mostly grants?
Yes.
To pay for this community center?
1,000%.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing with applications for grants anyways, especially for municipalities, you have to come up with some funds anyway, oftentimes whether they're matching or not. But I mean, the more money we could get, whether it's through grants, philanthropy, however it comes, the better. And again, that's going to be their job, is to research that.
Now, also FEMA, if we made this a place where people can go if we've
A
lost
warming and
power,
cooling center?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
All we'd have to do is, well, they would actually say if we have a generator there.
Yes.
That would be part of a warming center as well.
Yes.
So we'd probably get more grants for that as well.
1,000%. That's already been part of our research, my research, and actually Steve, the one that we've hired as project manager, I think some of you know him, he has also done that research as well. So we're looking at this to serve as a warming and cooling center, among many other things.
So with this money that we're spending with this project manager, this is going to be a big savings as far as for the community center.
Massive.
Well, we're only paying $5,000 for them, I think. Right? Pretty much.
The
rest
TIF
of it.
funds are supporting the rest, so
Yeah.
I think it's a steal. And
Yeah.
again, when you have somebody that gets to dedicate their time on grants, that I mean, it's there's nothing better than that. So I think it's an incredible opportunity for the town.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Mark, if
Yes.
there's a suggestion to add a new position, when do we bring that in?
Well, where's it falling under? Under admin? Or is it under
Oh, no,
another
I know what
department?
you're talking about.
If it's
Yeah.
under another
Yeah.
department, we'll just
Yeah.
focus during
Okay.
those departments.
Yep.
Yep.
If I may, through the chair. Mark, about this position,
Yes.
I understand that the primary responsibility will be grant writing.
yes.
What I'm wondering is, once this particular project, the community center, that the project manager has followed it through, and 5, 8 years from now, and the project's, well on its way, and there's no more to really do with that project, what do you foresee that project manager doing after that?
Not only can they offer support for the other departments, because other department heads are writing their own grants. I could give an example of Amanda from Parks and Rec. She told me how she wrote for a grant, I think it was a year ago, spent about 70 hours writing for this grant for, call it $10,000, and then at the end of it, they pulled the money on her. She dedicated 70 hours just for them to turn around and go, sorry, we're not giving it to you. So when it comes to department heads and writing for their own grants, when it comes to the town manager writing for grants, that's going to offset that time. It's going to allow him or her in that position to be able to do that, and leaving the department heads to do their jobs and do everything else that they need to do. And people like Amanda and all these other department heads, they're running ragged every day doing their jobs. When you look at the community center, the library community center, once that reaches its end where it's now a thing and it exists, again, there's going to be grants. We're always in need of grants. Whether it's this year or 30 years from now or 50 years from now, it doesn't matter. We're always going to have a place for grants. We're looking at, not to mention, when it comes to these things as well, this is directly in line with the comp plan and the capital improvement plan for the town. So when you look at the 2023 comp plan, you look at our capital improvement plans that have been in place, this position supports the work that those plans discuss. Whether it's Bay Street, Library and Community Center that has also a warming and cooling center in it, all of this gets tied in together. So to have one person being able to dedicate their job and their time on this, that's how we save money for the town. That's less money that the taxpayers have to pay for either essentials or extra things in this town that could be focused on getting this money elsewhere.
Okay, and then one other question I had was, by adding this position, I mean, it seems like we're already a little tight for space in the town office. I mean, where do you foresee
I already
gaining that
found
space? What's that?
I found space. He has an
Okay.
office.
Okay,
Is it going to be a hybrid position or remote or full-time
It can
in
be.
office?
So it's a new position. So it's going to be. There's already been a conversation regarding in the beginning. There's a standard in place, of course, but there's going to be flexibility with this new position. So there's going to be kind of a feel out, term to see how this gels. Whether or not this is a hybrid situation. No matter what, we have to follow in line with the personnel policy as well. So whatever's indicated in that with the expectations for the employee is what we're going to follow.
Okay,
And now we're gonna move back to the budget,
Yes.
right?
sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
So part-time salaries,
It's good.
overtime, before, I don't think we had anything, nope, we had 2,000 budgeted for FY26. I kept it as that. Again, we only have one part-timer. That's a new position. I want to leave that little bit of wiggle room. The job itself, I estimated would be a 15 to 25 hour job a week. It averages out to about 1,100 hours a year, but giving an extra bit of wiggle room in case there is more time needed, whether it's a deadline for a grant or anything else. I want to make sure this individual is covered. So that's why I left that 2,000 in that was already in place from the previous year.
Sure. Through the chair, I have a quick question. Are we going to be approving or putting things on hold line by line? Because I do want to go back to these three positions we discussed earlier.
I thought we just finished that
Well,
discussion.
you sent it back to Mark to review.
Right.
Yeah, so I want him to consider something in that review process. Personally, I believe the finance director should be paid more than the personnel director or the clerk. So I'd like to see the finance director above the other two.
The final amount of the money that they'll get will come from the approval of the
I'll
council.
give you guys, I'll
But
give
I
you a
just
plan
want you
for
to
it. Yep.
consider that.
Sure.
Yep, and anything else you have to add to it, you can call Mark, email Mark, whichever. Go ahead.
Overtime.
Good.
Good. Car allowance.
Who is that for?
Car allowance, is that, Sherry, is that only mine?
That's
From the
just yours.
Yeah, that's
That's just
contract
yours, okay,
again.
yep.
Yep. All right, now we're down to, let me see, building maintenance. We all tracking right below?
Yes.
Just went up again. A lot of what Sherry and I went with was an average 3 to 5% increases for a lot of these. So this is an extra 1,000. So this brings us up to 26K. From last year was 25. If you guys want me to stop, just
Nope, yep, they'll jump in if they've
Yep.
got.
Electricity.
Just through the
again,
chair, sorry, just,
Yeah.
you don't have what we actually spent, right? You don't-
Right now, the actual. Do you have the actual up,
see-
Sherry?
I see 25 is 17,000.
For this year so far?
We've only spent.
Well,
43.
as of January 18th, it was 9,000.
Okay, okay.
So we've only used 43% of it.
Right, as of the middle of January.
Electricity, CMP, obviously costs have gone up. So we went, that was another, let me see, 1,600 it's gone up from last year. Sewer, that went up less than 100. But again, sewer fees have increased. Water fees, same thing. Water fees have increased, so we went up 100. Telephone, that went up 200. Heating, fuel, that went up only 200. Miscellaneous supplies, that went up 450. Tax billing, again, we moved. Oh, that was the other thing too, by the way. So Sherry also did a really good job, and we're gonna focus a lot in the off season after this budget season of cleaning up the lines itself. She was actually a magician moving things around. So she's trying to tighten up the budget and make it make more sense than what it did before.
Yeah, and
So-
the notes, everything that's in the notes is very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, she did a great job. So again, we moved from assessing operating budget. So that's why, this is actually, yep, that's staying the same. So that's 4,000. Subscriptions staying the same as the last fiscal year. Training, that's also staying the same. Advertising, we dropped that by 500.
I have something for training.
Please.
No, never mind. Skip that thought.
Yep. Registry of Deeds, kept that at the same. Audit, we went up 2K. The increase was approximately 5%. Computer hardware, 1,000. There's a couple monitors that are old, so we're looking at kind of updating some of the computers that we have. I think it was Mary or someone has, a screen that's this big, so we're just getting the ladies up front to get, newer and better equipment than the old stuff they've been
Mark,
using.
I'm sorry, I do have a question on the
Please.
training. On the training, it said we only use 22%. Is that right? Am I reading it right?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
That must
Audra-
leave a lot of money left in there to use.
I'm sorry?
So there's more money left in there.
Yes. So with 5 months left, there's still a recertification that needs to happen. There's a few other things that it's going to get tapped into. But yes, there is still money left over. That's why we kept it the same.
Okay.
Yep. Application software. Again, we moved that up. So Adobe annual, and before, I think when it came to the Adobe licensing, what was happening is we only had like 1 or 2 licenses. So anytime anyone got on Adobe, whoever was actively in it would get kicked out. So you would be in the middle of doing legitimate work, and it would boot you out. Sherry was unfortunately on the receiving end many times, and you can't have your finance director working on projects and then getting booted out of the system.
Yeah, so how many licenses does the town have?
When Joel's here for the IT, he has
Yeah,
the figures.
he's gonna give all those
and that's the
figures.
problem.
Okay.
Again, this is what we found going through the budget, is a lot of these lines should all exist under, my opinion and Sherry's, it should exist under an IT budget. And,
Correct. Yeah, I
and there
agree.
isn't one. So it's
agree.
been divided up and spread around. So trying to track these figures down
Sure.
was
That where it
was
says like
enjoyable.
networking on a lot of the
Yes.
different, yeah, 'cause
Yes.
I was
Exactly.
curious how that all works. so
Yep.
that makes sense.
Legal fees, that went up. Obviously, last year was a unique year. There was a lot of moving parts on the legal side of things. We're still kind of in flux with a lot of those happenings that are carrying over from last year. So we've increased that by $20K, based on not just what the proposed budget was last year, but what the actual is from last year. And the actual is a lot higher than what the last year's proposed budget was.
And we still only use 44%.
It'll increase by the end of the year, no question.
Sure.
But it'll catch up. But we're still expecting it to kind of peter out at that.
You think it's gonna take the whole amount of that 40,000 at the
Oh
end of
yeah,
this year?
I do. Legal retainer, again, that wasn't budgeted for before, so we left that alone. Postage, we bumped it up $100. And contracted services, we actually dropped that. So we removed the billing impound. And if you have any questions, Sherry could talk more on that one. And that would complete,
One question.
yes.
What sorts of things fall under miscellaneous supplies? Because I see about 10,000 there. So what would be some
Yeah.
examples of that?
That's mostly office supplies for admin.
Okay.
That could be paper, ink, envelopes. I mean, everything that's used in the offices.
Okay. All right.
Any more questions on admin?
Did you say the contracted services
Yes.
are gonna be removed?
No. It dropped because of what was removed from that budget line.
Okay,
So that's why it went from 16K to 12K.
okay, yep.
We all set to move on?
Think so.
Yep.
Page 11. Town council.
Uh-oh.
So recently you guys voted on the increase. So to take that into consideration, 8,400.
That doesn't take effect till July.
Correct. That goes up from fiscal year 26, which was 6,300. Right now, we're at 5,850. Down to miscellaneous supplies. So a few things here. Let's see. We've gone up to 1,400. There's classes that are taken with new counselors that are on the council now.
And I'm just
What's up with 2025? Why is it 7,000?
Good question.
I mean, I know it's in the past, but I'm just curious.
There was, I think it was before that year, there were a handful of tablets that were purchased. I don't think it was in 25 though, because
That's
those were
correct.
older.
I believe you're right.
Was it
And
25 that
because
there
some
was-
tablets that were gonna be
Right.
taken back. Was one of yours, Ray? Did you have a tablet when you were in town council?
We all had tablets.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
were given tablets at
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
And then
The one
we
you
never
was-
really used them, just so we gave them back.
Okay.
Basically.
That's probably where
We
the
gave
money
them,
came
but
from.
she says, seems like 7,000 is a lot of money for tablets. but-
Yeah.
I mean, tablets usually a couple $100 if that, you know?
Yeah.
But it must have
Yeah.
been something else, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Did you guys go on a trip? Just kidding.
Absolutely.
Through the chair.
Jamaica, I think we went. No, we did, I don't remember going on any trips, I'm for sure. And I
That
would
was a
remember
joke.
that.
That was a joke.
It was
a joke.
it was a trip. I'll give you that much.
through the chair. In the notes, it says it's $500 for cell phone for one person.
Yes.
And I'm just curious who that is.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to know, inquiring minds want to know. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, of course.
And then legal fees. Again, we moved the legal fees that were on this and we moved it to the admin side. We're consolidating that together.
Okay.
So we can't track how much the council's actually used?
We
or-
could still track it.
Yeah, we can track it. It just won't
It's
be
easy
in your
enough to
operating
track.
budget.
It's better to track for us on the budget side of things if it falls under one budget line. But we could still track how it's used.
Nope, that's fine.
Does that simplify it for you, Sherry?
No, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
That was the reason why we did it. It simplifies the budget.
Do we pay them like for every issue that we have with them, or do we have the opportunity to
A
kind of?
monthly fee.
It's a monthly fee.
So there's a monthly fee and then there's what's in scope and what's out of scope.
Okay.
You would imagine that a lot is out of scope, even though
Okay. So that's why it fluctuates.
that's why it fluctuates.
Okay.
For instance, going through the dangerous building process, things like that,
Yep.
out of scope.
Okay.
So we didn't go up on the cable broadcasting, did we?
Oh, my apologies, I did skip that. Only by, what's that? Nope,
I went
that's
down.
175.
Cable broadcasting looks like it went down $100.
From 5.5 to,
Probably should go up a
52.
couple
It went
$100
down.
for when those.
It went up
meetings-
from 5225 to 5400.
54, yeah.
Yeah,
It went
yeah.
up.
okay, I'm looking at the wrong column, you're right.
Went up 11%.
All set?
Yep.
Assessing. Now on trial? Please.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I don't know how exactly you want me to do this. I know I was with Judy last year, but if you want me to go line by line, if there's a line you have a question about,
Yes, please.
line by line.
Pull your mic closer.
So I didn't recommend necessarily keeping time for Judy. That's what the overtime line was asking Judy to come back. I didn't use as much of it as I thought that I was going to. I think I've used about like $1,500 maybe.
That's what it says here.
So they recommended keeping 1,500 in just in case I have questions for Judy because she's all knowing about the town, and I definitely send her a text every once in a while to kind of keep the contact going. But she was definitely helpful with the last commitment, just kind of going over. We have different businesses that decrease by a certain percentage every year. I've listed those out, but she was a good person to reach out to, and I don't know. I feel like everybody here knows Judy really well, and she was really great. So that's what that line is. My car allowance is just for when I go and do my on-site inspections. I use my own vehicle, and I go drive to your house, and I knock on your door, and I ask to come in or talk to you about your shed that you put on your property. So that's pretty straightforward, I think.
You skipped the salaries, right? The very first one?
I did. I didn't.
That's
I was gonna say I don't go over that. I can. I didn't recommend
Oh.
it.
Could you put the microphone
That's,
closer?
that's part of that?
Yeah, that's part of the proposed for the department heads.
Okay.
The 6250 is the exact contracted cost for our web hosting site and CAI mapping. Judy used to do our mapping. That isn't necessarily a skill set I have at this point. Definitely something training-wise I'd love to do in the future, but I'd like to get a couple more years under my belt before I try to jump into GIS and learning how to do that. So that's that exact fee for them. And then we did switch over from Vision to CAI for our online web hosting. So it kind of gives you a little bit more abilities in the site to look things up. The overlays that you can do, you can overlay our zoning map on it and really see like what your zoning is. Audra's currently working with the districting committee to make a districting map. So that'll be an overlay in there too. So it's just a really cool website, and it's cheaper than Vision was. So that's that cost. I don't know what the cost of the new phones are going to be, in case you can't tell by my little note in there, by what is the cost of the new phones. So that one got left as is. I don't know what the cost is going to be.
Is that already been done? Do we have new phones right now?
We're in the process of implementing it right now. So actually, Steve Lucy with GoTo Communications, he'll be here next week, and that's going to be the final meeting with all department heads to solidify exactly what phones they're getting, where they're getting put. Joel, IT director, is going to be a part of that as well.
Okay, so we'll have a better number then.
And that's
Okay.
supposed to be cheaper than what we currently have.
Much cheaper. Credit to the previous town manager.
I did ask for a little bit of an increase in my miscellaneous supplies, just with the cost of paper going up, and kind of connecting to postage going up a little bit. I'd like to start doing welcome packets for new residents. A lot of residents either don't know that they need to come in and maybe change their mailing address with us. Whatever you put on your deed, like if you're putting your current mailing address and it's in Fairfield, that's what I put on your Vision record, and that's where your tax bill is going to go. So sending something out that just says, hey, come change your address with me. Here is a homestead application ahead of the fact. Here's some information about trash pickup, something just to kind of say, welcome to Winslow, happy to have you here. So a little bit of increase just to cover the cost of what that paper is going to be, and the postage too.
Is that what we've done in the past?
We used to, and then we kind of had an influx where like the code officer was leaving and then the assistant would get lost. So Judy used to do it, and then I just don't think we had the manpower to do it. It's certainly definitely an undertaking, but I think once we have it made and then kind of making the packets, I think that Lynn and I can handle it without a code officer for right now. So
Okay, until we get a code officer.
until we get a code officer, which is hopefully very soon. So, tax maps, I put 300. That was just to cover the map and the ink. So on the first like maintenance contract where it says mapping services, CAI is going to make the maps for me and then send me the PDF copies for us, and then I print them myself. So it saves us a little bit of money on that end because they don't have to deliver them to us or
So
anything.
the amount of money, that hasn't changed?
No,
Okay.
no. The tax commitment book, that's a new line. It was coming out of a different line before. It's like $150 to get a hardcover book because I make my own commitment book like Judy kind of did. We used to print it out of Munis, but it makes a lot of pages, which makes the tax commitment book a lot more expensive to make and a lot bigger. When we do it ourselves through Excel, it makes it much smaller and a lot cheaper. So that's pretty, they mail it to me. It's on my shelf. You can come look at it whenever you want to.
Okay.
Trainings, that obviously is just my trainings dues, seminars. The dues have increased a bit over the last year. I think 2 of the ones that I subscribe to have increased this year. Some of them I got free for this year because I just got certified a year ago. So some of them, the first year you get free. So I got this year free for a couple. But that also covers going to property tax school, which is a week-long training that I go to, and that's typically several $100s, but that comes out in like June. So
Okay.
definitely see an increase in that one. So we went with the same as last year. Training went with the same as last year. I don't think much has increased on that one at all. Registry of Deeds, I don't pay for, so that's nothing. Computer hardware, same as last year, just in case we need to replace anything. Vision is our application software, so that's the price that they gave us for this year, so it is an increase, but there's not much I can fight about that one. I don't have any legal
You
fees.
could, Vision, explain to us, like what Vision, what service that is. I know, but I'd just
Yeah.
love to hear it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vision is a system that has all your property record cards in it. So it's how I make all of your drawings when I draw out your new house or where I add your sheds into, all your property information, anything like that. That is what Vision is, and where I can print it off to give the taxpayer if they have questions about what their property kind of tax comes down to and what it kind of accounts for that. Postage, like I said, I increased that because I'm anticipating doing a lot more mailings this year. I'm hoping to do that welcome packet. It's also increased a lot the last couple of years with doing certified mail. Like I'm required statutorily to certify mail things, and that's over $10 now per mailing. So that's gotten definitely a little bit harder. So increasing that so I can do the welcome packets and maybe make more people want to come here because we're so welcoming. And then contracted services, Bill Van Tynen is a assessor that does more specialized assessing, like the CMP lines I had him do last year. So he kind of really gets into that nitty gritty, like, do you have an H pole? What do you have? Is it accurate to what CMP told you? So he really goes through all of that, and he does something different every year. This year I'm going to have him do the dams, just because there's talk about what might happen with those. Their production is down. So he has that experience to kind of do that kind of stuff. So we leave that in there every year for him.
Just through the chair, I know that through my neighborhood, a big power line project through the
Yes.
town of Winslow. How's that going to add assets to the town of Winslow? Should, right?
Yes, it is. I'm sending CMP a 706A, which is a statute which allows me to request information from a taxpayer, and they have to respond to me or they can't fight the assessment that I do. So I'm going to be sending them a letter to ask them about that. But Bill Van Tynen already sent me an email about that and information about what they're doing for their costs and everything else. So I'll be able to account for that with this upcoming commitment.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
I don't.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you,
Very
Vanessa.
Appreciate it.
On to election.
Just a page?
Page?
What page?
That is page
13.
13.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the page.
Yep.
There we go, elections.
Okay, so I guess I'll go line by line as well. Part-time salaries, that is my election clerks. They get paid minimum wage. Minimum wage is going up to $15.50 for 2026, 6 and 7. So I've kind of left that the same. The overtime, when Katie was here, she would help, and she was she was hourly at one point, but now we don't really have, I don't have anyone in the office that is helping, so we've brought that down to 0. Maintenance contracts is nothing. Election expenses, we've dropped that a little bit to 8,000. So we do feed our ladies when they come help, and gentlemen. Anything else that we need on election day. The printing of ballots, we've left that the same. Miscellaneous supplies, if we need anything for the VFW, like these mats, if we need to buy new ones, we have, or signage, we left that at 600. Advertising, we do need to put ads in the paper, so that's just, we dropped that to 500. And postage is always, oh, I'm sorry, and I missed one. Election expenses, the VFW is currently, they don't charge us, but that could change at any point in time too. That's their choice as of now. And then the postage, we've left that at 1,000. So we had
Did
2
you-
elections.
Did you add anything in? I know we talked about the new booths.
We don't need new booths, but we will need new machines, and that will be in the capital line.
Okay. I was just going to ask you that.
Those are coming. The state's working through what they need to do.
And how
But we'll
many-
have to be ready for that when it comes.
How many new ones, and approximately how much is it?
They don't have a price yet.
No.
Again, they're still working through that, but we want to make sure we have enough when it comes. Currently, we have 4, and we really need one more. We get quite a bit of line back up when it's a busy election, so we'd really like to have 5.
Okay.
The state ballot's usually bigger, so it takes a little bit longer too.
Do you know what the
Go
cost
through.
of those machines were before?
I know, they've been around for a long time.
They have, okay.
And I'm
And-
sorry, you said you'd take that out of capital?
Yep, there's a capital line for that. And this is for 2 elections in 2027, November, and then again in June. It's
Thank
pretty
you.
straightforward, I
Very
guess.
good. Yeah.
Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. That concludes it.
If I might through the chair,
Please.
just in the past, sometime we've done capital, with the associated, but we're not doing that anymore. We're going to do capital whole separate capital.
Correct.
And the capital, would that be like if we wanted to, if an events committee wanted some seed money, how would that go?
Would you put
Finance
under
director.
that under, would we have to add that under organizational support?
Yeah. No, that
No?
would be, hold on, let me look at the schedule real quick. Thank you, Tanya. Which would be, that's gonna be Monday the 16th, March 16th.
Okay.
March 16th.
Want to make a motion to adjourn? Are we done?
I'm all set
Are
if
we
you're
done?
all set.
Are we done? I don't know. I'm ready.
Second?
Second? Okay.
All in favor? Good night.
Thank you all.